Baby, before you say anything, before you try to smile and act like everything is normal, let me say this first. I know what you've been doing. And no, I'm not saying this with anger. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because my heart has been too quiet for too long. And tonight it just refused to stay silent. When I close my eyes, I don't see darkness anymore. I see you. I see the way you look when you think no one is watching. I see the way you try to hide things behind small laughs and short replies. And baby, you don't have to lie to me. Not like this. Not when I've been listening to your silence, more than your words. Not when every little change in you feels louder to me than any sound in the world. You think I don't notice when you read my messages slower. You think I don't feel it when your voice changes, just a little. You think I don't understand when you say you're just tired. But I know you're tired is not about sleep. It's about your heart. And that's what scares me, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're carrying something alone. And you shouldn't have to do that. Baby, look at me. Even if you can't see my face, even if this is just my voice reaching you, please understand, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here because I care in a way that doesn't know how to stay quiet anymore. You don't know how many nights I've stayed awake, thinking about you, not in a dramatic way, not in a movie way, in a very real, very heavy way. The kind of thinking that sits in your chest and doesn't let you breathe properly. I keep remembering small things, the way you used to talk without stopping. The way you used to tell me little stories that didn't even matter, but somehow meant everything to me. And now, sometimes you go quiet in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes you disappear for hours and come back with a simple sorry. And baby, I always say it's okay, but inside me something keeps asking, what is she not telling me? You don't have to protect me from your pain. You don't have to pretend you're strong all the time. I didn't fall for your strength. I fell for your honesty. I fell for your heart. I fell for the way you're real. Even when you're broken, even when you're confused, even when you don't know what you want. And lately, it feels like you're carrying a storm inside you and showing me only the calm sky. I know you've been overthinking. I know you've been sitting with your phone in your hand, typing things and deleting them. I know you've been listening to sad songs and pretending they're just nice songs. I know you've been looking at our old messages sometimes and not knowing what to feel. You don't have to ask me how I know. When you care about someone the way I care about you, you start to recognize their silence, the same way you recognize their laugh. Baby, you can lie to the world. You can lie to everyone else. But don't lie to me. Not because I own you. Not because I control you. But because I'm the one who wants to sit next to you in your worst moments, not only your good ones. I'm the one who wants to hold your worries even when I don't know how to fix them. I'm the one who doesn't want a perfect version of you. I want the real you, the tired you, the confused you, the scared you. Sometimes I wonder if you're afraid of telling me the truth. Maybe you think I'll leave. Maybe you think I'll change. Maybe you think I won't understand. But baby, if you knew how many times I've already chosen you in my heart without telling you, you wouldn't be so scared. I choose you when you're quiet. I choose you when you're distant. I choose you even when you push me away without meaning to. I'm not here because it's easy. I'm here because something about you feels like home to me, even on days when you feel lost to yourself. And when I say I know what you've been doing, I don't mean something bad in the way you're thinking. I mean, I know you've been fighting yourself. I know you've been trying to be okay for everyone. I know you've been pretending that some things don't hurt. And that's the part that breaks me. Because you don't have to be okay with me. You don't have to wear that mask here. Do you remember how you used to look at me when you were excited about something? Your eyes had this light, this softness, this feeling that made me think, I want to protect this smile for the rest of my life. That light is still there, baby. I see it. But I also see the shadows around it now. And I'm not scared of your shadows. I just don't want you to walk through them alone. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. You don't have to decide everything alone. You don't have to cry where no one can see you. If you're going to cry, cry with me. If you're going to be weak in my arms. If you're going to be honest with me. Sometimes I feel like you're slowly stepping away, not because you want to leave, but because you're afraid of getting closer. And that hurts in a quiet way, not the kind of hurt that makes you angry. The kind that makes you miss someone even when they're still there. Baby, I don't want to guess what's in your heart. I don't want to read between lines. I want to hear it from you, even if your words are messy. Even if you don't know how to explain it. Even if you're scared of how it will sound. Your truth will never be too heavy for me. I'd rather carry your truth than be comfortable with your lies. I know you've been thinking about your life. I know you've been questioning things. I know you've been wondering where you belong and what you really want. And that's okay. That's human. That's real. But don't shut me out while you're doing that. Don't turn your heart into a locked room and expect me to understand through the door. Let me in, even if it's not clean inside, even if it's not organized, even if it's full of doubts and fears and questions. Let me sit there with you. Let me listen. Let me be quiet with you. If that's what you need. You don't know how many times I almost asked you directly, are you okay? And then I stopped, because you said, I'm fine, in that voice that doesn't sound fine at all. I didn't want to make you uncomfortable, but tonight my heart is tired of pretending it doesn't notice. Tonight I just want you to know that I see you. I really see you. Not the version you show everyone. The version that's trying to be strong. The version that's tired of being strong. Baby, you don't have to lie to me about where you've been emotionally. You don't have to say you're okay when you're not. You don't have to act like things don't bother you. I'm not here for a perfect story. I'm here for a real one. And you are real to me in a way that's hard to explain. You're not just someone I talk to. You're someone my heart recognizes, even in silence. Sometimes I imagine you sitting there listening to my voice, maybe with your phone in your hand, maybe with your thoughts somewhere far away. And I wonder what you're thinking right now. I wonder if your heart is beating a little faster. I wonder if you're saying, how does he know? Baby, I know because I care. And caring makes you notice things. Caring makes you sensitive in a way that's not always comfortable. I'm not asking you to change. I'm not asking you to promise anything. I'm not asking you to explain everything in one night. I'm just asking you to be honest with me. Even if it comes out in small pieces. Even if it comes out in tears. Even if it comes out in silence. Just don't lie, not here. Not with me. You mean more to me than you probably realize. More than these words can fully explain. More than I've ever been brave enough to say directly. And that's why it hurts when I feel you hiding. Not because I'm afraid of what you're doing, but because I'm afraid of losing the chance to understand you. Maybe you think you're protecting me by staying quiet. Maybe you think you're protecting yourself. But sometimes silence doesn't protect anything. Sometimes it just builds walls. And I don't want walls between us. I want closeness. Even if it's scary. Even if it's complicated. Even if it's not perfect. Baby, whatever you've been doing, whatever you've been feeling, whatever you've been thinking late at night, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere in this moment. I'm listening. I always have been. And maybe that's what I wanted you to know more than anything else. That even when you're quiet, even when you're distant, even when you're trying to handle everything by yourself, my heart is still here, waiting for yours to open just a little more. Well, because every time your heart opens even a little, I feel like the world becomes softer around me. I don't know if you understand how much your smallest emotions reach me. Sometimes you don't even say anything, and still I can tell something inside you is shaking. It's like when the air changes before it rains. You can't see the rain yet, but you know it's coming. That's how you feel to me lately. Like you're holding back a storm behind your eyes and smiling as if the sky is clear. Baby, you don't have to be brave like that with me. You don't have to pretend you're stronger than you are. I don't love you for how well you hide your pain. I love you for how real your heart is. Even when it's tired, even when it's confused, even when it doesn't know which direction to go. Sometimes I think about the first time you made me feel calm just by being yourself. You didn't do anything special. You didn't try. You were just you, and somehow that was enough to make me feel like I could finally breathe a little deeper. That's why it hurts now when I feel you pulling away into yourself. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because I miss that closeness. I miss the way you used to let your thoughts fall out without worrying how they sounded. I miss the way you trusted me with small, unimportant things. Because those small things were never small to me. They were pieces of you. And I keep thinking, if you trusted me with those, why are you afraid to trust me with the heavy ones? Maybe you're scared that if you tell me what's really going on inside you, something will change between us. Maybe you're scared I'll see you differently. But baby, I already see you. I see your doubts. I see your tiredness. I see your kindness. I see your fear of disappointing people. I see the way you try to keep everyone happy, even when it costs you your own peace. And none of that makes me want to leave. It makes me want to come closer. It makes me want to sit beside you and say, you don't have to do this alone anymore. I know you've been thinking a lot. I can feel it in the pauses between your words. I can feel it in the way your replies come slower, like you're choosing each word carefully so nothing shows too much. And sometimes I want to tell you that you don't have to choose your words with me. You can be messy. You can be unclear. You can say things that don't make sense. You can even change your mind halfway through a sentence. I'm not here to judge how perfectly you explain yourself. I'm here to understand what your heart is trying to say, even when it doesn't know how to say it yet. There are moments when I imagine you lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything and nothing at the same time. I imagine your phone beside you, maybe with my name on the screen, maybe with a message half written and never sent. And I wonder what stops you. Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the feeling that you have to be strong and handle everything by yourself? Baby, you don't have to be strong with me. You can be tired. You can be unsure. You can be scared. You can even be silent. Just don't be alone in it. You know, sometimes people think love is only about happy moments, about laughing together and saying sweet things and making plans. But for me, love is also this. It's sitting with someone in their quiet, in their confusion, in their unspoken pain. It's staying even when things are not clear. It's choosing to listen even when the words are hard to hear. And I want that with you. Not the perfect version of you. The real one. I keep remembering how you used to tell me about your day in the smallest details. Even the boring parts. Even the things that didn't matter to anyone else. And I loved listening to that. Not because the stories were exciting, but because they were yours. And now, sometimes, you just say, was fine, and change the topic. And I don't push you, but inside I feel this quiet ache. Because I know fine doesn't always mean fine. Sometimes it means, I don't know how to explain. Sometimes it means, I don't want to be a burden. Sometimes it means, I'm tired of talking about it. And I wish you knew that you're never a burden to me. Not with your problems. Not with your worries. Not with your emotions. Baby, I'm not perfect either. There are things I don't say. There are fears I keep inside. There are nights when I also overthink and wonder if I'm doing enough. If I'm saying the right things. If I'm being what you need. But the difference is, I want to share those things with you. Even if it makes me feel vulnerable. Even if it makes me feel a little exposed. Because that's what closeness is. It's not two perfect people showing only their best sides. It's two real people slowly learning how to hold each other's broken parts without cutting themselves. Sometimes I feel like you're standing at a distance, watching, not sure if you should come closer or step back. And I want you to know, I'm not going to disappear if you come closer. I'm not going to think less of you if you show me your weak moments. I'm not going to judge you if your feelings are complicated. Feelings are complicated. Life is complicated. You don't have to make it simple for me. You just have to make it honest. I keep thinking about the way you say my name sometimes. There's this softness in it, even when you're trying to sound normal, and it makes me believe that somewhere inside you, you still want to be close. You're just scared of something. And I wish I could sit in front of you right now and just look at you and say, tell me, whatever it is, just tell me, not because I need answers, but because I don't want you to keep everything locked inside. You know, when I said I know what you've been doing, I didn't mean you've been doing something wrong. I meant I know you've been surviving. I know you've been trying to keep yourself together. I know you've been pretending some things don't hurt. I know you've been smiling when you wanted to rest, and that's not something to be ashamed of. But it is something you shouldn't have to do alone. Sometimes I wonder if you think you have to be a certain way for me to stay. Like you have to be calm, or happy, or easy to be with. But baby, I don't want easy. I want real. I want the days when you're quiet. I want the days when you're not sure. I want the days when you need someone to just listen. Because those days are part of you. And I'm not here only for the bright parts. I'm here for all of it. There are times when I catch myself smiling at old memories of us. Not even big moments, just small things. A way you said something. A way you reacted to a joke. A way you got quiet when you were thinking. And it makes me realize how deeply you've become part of my thoughts. How naturally my heart goes to you without even asking me. And that's why I care so much about what you're carrying inside. Because when something hurts you, even quietly, it somehow touches me too. I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. Not as someone who has to be strong all the time, but as someone who's already enough, even when they're tired, even when they're confused, even when they don't have everything figured out. You don't need to prove anything to me. You don't need to hide anything from me. Just be you. That's all I've ever wanted. Sometimes I think maybe you're afraid that if you open up, everything will become too serious, too heavy. But you know what? It's already serious to me. Not in a scary way. In a quiet, honest way. The kind of serious that doesn't shout but stays. The kind that doesn't rush but waits. The kind that doesn't demand but hopes. I'm not asking you to tell me everything right now. I'm not asking you to solve your life in one conversation. I'm just asking you to let me be there. Even if it's just a little more than before. Even if it's just one honest sentence. Even if it's just silence that we share together instead of alone. There are moments when I think you underestimate how much you matter. How your presence changes my mood. How your words stay with me longer than you think. How your absence feels louder than your noise. And maybe that's why I'm talking like this now. Because I don't want distance to grow in the space where closeness could exist. Baby, if you're scared, tell me you're scared. If you're tired, tell me you're tired. If you're confused, tell me you're confused. You don't have to have beautiful words. You don't have to explain it perfectly. Just let it out. Let me hear your real voice, not the one that tries to sound okay. Sometimes I imagine holding your hands and telling you that it's okay to stop for a moment. That it's okay to not know what comes next. That it's okay to just breathe and exist. And not have all the answers. And I imagine you finally letting your shoulders relax a little. And that image alone makes me feel like everything is worth it. You don't know how many times I've wanted to tell you that you don't have to impress me. You already did, just by being yourself. Just by being kind in a world that's not always kind. Just by caring in a world that often doesn't. Just by being you. And if there's something you're not telling me, because you think it will change how I see you, I want you to know this. I already see you as someone real. Not perfect. Not always strong. Not always sure. And that's exactly why you matter to me. Maybe you're listening to this and thinking, he's talking about me, but he doesn't really know everything. And you're right. I don't know everything. But I want to. Not because I'm curious, because I care. There's a difference. I don't want to be someone you talk to only when you're okay. I want to be someone you can come to when you're not. Even if you don't know what to say. Even if you just want to sit in silence. Even if all you can say is, I'm not okay today. And maybe you're still not ready to open up. Maybe you're still holding things inside. And that's okay. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm just going to stay right here, in this place between your words and your silence, letting you know that when you're ready, I'm listening, and my heart is still open, still waiting, still hoping to hear the parts of you that you've been keeping hidden. Because even the parts you hide are still part of the person I care about. Sometimes I think you believe that if you keep those parts quiet, they'll slowly disappear. But feelings don't work like that, baby. They don't fade just because you don't talk about them. They sit there, they wait, they grow heavier. And I don't want you to carry that weight by yourself anymore. I don't want you to think you have to be okay all the time just to keep the world calm around you. You're allowed to have days that feel too long. You're allowed to have thoughts that don't know where they belong. You're allowed to feel lost sometimes. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And that's the version of you I care about, not some perfect idea of you that never gets tired. Sometimes I replay our conversations in my head, not the big ones, the small ones, the ones that happen naturally without planning, the ones where you laugh a little and then suddenly go quiet, the ones where you change the topic a little too fast. And I always notice those moments. I notice when your energy shifts. I notice when your words become shorter. I notice when you start protecting something inside you. And every time, my heart asks the same question. What are you carrying that you think you have to carry alone? You don't know how many times I've wanted to say, please, don't hide from me. Not because I want to control you. Not because I want to know everything. But because I want to understand you. Because when you let someone understand you, you're not giving them power over you. You're giving them a chance to stand beside you. And I want to stand beside you. Not in front of you. Not behind you. Right there where you can reach me without trying too hard. There are days when I feel like you're close, really close. Like your heart is just one honest sentence away from mine. And then something pulls you back. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's something from your past. Maybe it's just the habit of always being the one who holds everything together. But whatever it is, I want you to know that you don't have to keep everything together with me. You're allowed to fall apart a little. I won't walk away. Sometimes I wonder if you think your problems are too small to talk about, or too big, or too complicated, or too messy. But baby, nothing that lives in your heart is unimportant to me. Nothing. If it makes you quiet, if it makes you tired, if it makes you overthink at night, then it matters, and I want to hear it. Even if you tell it in pieces. Even if you don't know where to start. Even if you stop in the middle and say, I don't know how to explain this. You know what I'm really afraid of? I'm afraid that one day you'll say, I've been feeling this way for a long time. And I'll realize you were fighting a whole battle inside you, while I was only seeing the surface. I don't want to be that far from you. I don't want to be someone who only knows your smile and not your worries. I don't want to be someone who says, I wish you told me sooner. I want to be someone you tell while it's still heavy, not after it's already broken you. Sometimes I think you don't realize how safe it is here, how gentle my heart is with you, how carefully I hold the things you share. I'm not someone who uses your feelings against you. I'm not someone who keeps score. I'm not someone who leaves when things become uncomfortable. If anything, I come closer when things get real, because that's when people actually need someone. I know you've been trying to be strong for a long time. I can see it in the way you talk about your life. I can see it in the way you don't like to ask for help. I can see it in the way you sometimes say, it's okay, I'll handle it, even when it's clearly too much for one heart. And I admire your strength. I really do. But I don't want your life to be only about surviving. I want it to have space to breathe. And maybe, just maybe, I can be part of that space. There are moments when I wish I could just sit next to you without saying anything. No pressure. No questions. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty. the kind that feels safe. And maybe in that quiet you'd finally let your guard down a little. Maybe you'd finally feel that you don't have to perform, or explain, or pretend. You can just exist, and I'll still be there. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You don't have to be the one who holds everyone else together. You're allowed to be the one who needs someone too. You're allowed to lean. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to say, I can't do this alone today. Sometimes I think about how carefully you choose what parts of yourself to show. Like you're always checking if it's safe first. And I understand that. Life teaches you to be careful. People disappoint you. Trust gets broken. And you learn to keep some things inside. But I want you to know, I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to share the weight. There are things I haven't told you either. Moments when I felt unsure. Moments when I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. Moments when I wondered if I was enough for you. But the difference is, I'm willing to tell you those things, even if it makes me feel exposed, because I believe that closeness is built on honesty, not on pretending everything is fine. Sometimes I feel like you're waiting for the right time to open up. But the truth is, there's never a perfect time. There's only now, and now is enough. Now is where real conversations begin, not when everything is solved. Not when everything is calm, but when things are still messy and real. I want you to know that I'm not in a hurry. I'm not here to rush you. I'm not here to demand anything from you. I'm just here, with an open heart, telling you that you don't have to walk this part of your life alone anymore. Maybe you're scared that, if you tell me everything, I'll see you differently. But baby, I already see you as someone who's trying. Someone who's doing their best in a world that doesn't make things easy. Someone who feels deeply, even when it hurts. And that doesn't push me away. It pulls me closer. Sometimes I imagine you finally telling me what's been sitting in your heart. And I don't imagine myself fixing it. I don't imagine myself giving perfect advice. I just imagine myself listening, really listening. The kind of listening that doesn't interrupt. The kind that doesn't judge. The kind that just says, I'm here. Keep going. You don't have to impress me with how well you handle things. You don't have to show me only your strong side. I don't love you for how well you survive. I care about you for who you are. There are days when I feel like you're closer to giving up than you let anyone see. And that scares me. Not because I think you're weak, but because I know how much you carry. And no one should carry that much alone. I wish you could see how gentle I am with your heart. Even when you're not here. How carefully I think about you. How I replay your words. How I worry when you go quiet. How I hope you're okay even when you say you are. Sometimes I feel like you're testing the ground, seeing how much you can show before pulling back again. And that's okay. You don't have to jump. You can take small steps, even one honest sentence is a step. Even one, I'm not okay today, is a step. You don't need to have everything figured out before you talk to me. You don't need to come with solutions. You don't need to make it sound neat. Just come as you are. There are parts of you that you probably think are too complicated to love. But those parts are just human. And I don't love simple ideas. I care about real people. Sometimes I wonder how long you've been carrying some of these feelings. How many times you told yourself, it's fine, I'll deal with it. How many times you went to sleep with a heavy heart and woke up pretending it wasn't there. And I wish I could reach into those moments and tell you that you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to be alone in your own head. You don't have to fight your thoughts by yourself. You don't have to pretend you're okay just to keep things easy. I'm not here because I need something from you. I'm here because I want to be. Because your heart matters to me. Because your life matters to me. Because you matter to me. Sometimes I think you don't realize how much space you already have in my heart. How naturally you fit there. How your presence changed things without trying. And that's why it hurts a little when I feel you keeping a part of yourself away. I'm not asking you to give me everything. I'm just asking you to let me in a little more than before. Maybe you're afraid of what happens if you open up and things still don't get better. But baby, being honest doesn't always fix everything. Sometimes it just makes things less lonely. And that alone is worth it. I don't want to be someone you smile for and hide from at the same time. I want to be someone you can be real with, even when being real is messy. There are so many things I want to tell you, but right now, the most important one is this: you don't have to pretend with me. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Whatever you're carrying, whatever you've been thinking about when no one is watching, whatever you've been trying to solve inside your own heart, you don't have to keep it locked away anymore. I'm here, still listening, still waiting, still caring in this quiet, steady way that doesn't demand anything from you except honesty. And maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you're still holding back. That's okay. I'm not going anywhere in this moment. I'm not closing this door. I'm just sitting right here, in this space between your silence and your words, hoping that one day soon, you'll choose to step a little closer and let me hear the parts of you that you've been keeping to yourself for far too long. Because even waiting for you feels better than walking away. Sometimes I think you don't realize how patient my heart has become with you. Not because I'm forcing myself, but because caring about you makes patience feel natural. When you matter to someone, you don't count the minutes. You don't keep a list of what you've given and what you've received. You just stay. And that's what I've been doing. Staying. Even in the quiet. Even in the distance. Even in the moments when I don't understand what's happening inside you. There are days when I imagine what you're doing at the exact moment I think of you. Maybe you're sitting somewhere, lost in your thoughts. Maybe you're smiling at something on your phone. Maybe you're tired and trying not to show it. And I wonder if you ever feel that small pull in your chest. The one that tells you someone is thinking about you. Because I feel it for you all the time. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's just there, steady like a heartbeat. Sometimes I wish you could hear the things I don't say out loud. The worries. The hopes. The quiet prayers I make for you without even realizing I'm doing it. I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to always be happy. I just want you to be real with me. Even if that reality is heavy. Even if it's confusing. Even if it doesn't have a clear shape yet. You know, there's a big difference between being alone and feeling alone. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like no one really sees you. And I think sometimes that's how you feel. Like you're present but not fully understood. And maybe that's why you keep some things to yourself. Because it's easier to stay quiet than to risk being misunderstood. But I want you to know, even if I don't always understand perfectly, I will always try. And trying is not nothing. Trying is how closeness grows. I'm not afraid of your questions. I'm not afraid of your doubts. I'm not afraid of the parts of you that are still unsure about life. We're all still unsure in some way. Anyone who says they have everything figured out is just hiding better. What matters to me is that you don't hide from me. Sometimes I feel like you're standing at a door, your hand on the handle, not sure whether to open it or walk away. And I want you to know that whatever is behind that door in your heart, I'm not scared to see it. I'm not going to run because things are complicated. Life is complicated. People are complicated. Feelings are complicated. That doesn't make them unworthy. It makes them real. I don't want you to think that your value to me depends on how cheerful you sound or how easy you are to talk to. Your value is in who you are, not in how well you perform being okay. You don't have to earn my care by hiding your pain. There are moments when I think you don't realize how gentle you are, even in your tiredness. How kind you are, even when you're struggling. How much you give without even noticing it. And maybe you don't see those things in yourself, because you're too busy trying to survive your own thoughts. But I see them. I've always seen them. Sometimes I imagine you finally telling me, this is what I've been feeling, and maybe your voice is shaking a little. And I imagine myself not interrupting, not fixing, not rushing you, just listening. Because some things don't need to be solved right away. Some things just need to be shared. You don't have to protect me from your truth. You don't have to make it smaller or softer. I'd rather hear it the way it really is. Even if it's messy. Even if it's not clear. Even if it changes tomorrow. I think one of the bravest things a person can do is let someone see them when they're not at their best. And maybe you don't feel brave right now. That's okay. You don't have to be. I can hold some of that courage for you until you're ready. I'm not keeping a clock on you. I'm not waiting with conditions. I'm just here, in this quiet, steady way, hoping that one day you'll realize you don't have to do everything alone. That you don't have to carry your heart like it's a secret. And maybe you're still listening to this with your guard up. Maybe you're still thinking, it's not that simple. And you're right, it's not simple. But it doesn't have to be simple, to be honest. All I want is for you to know that there is a place where you don't have to pretend. A place where you don't have to explain everything perfectly. A place where you can just be as you are, even on the days when you don't like yourself very much. That place is here. With me. In this space we're sharing right now. In these words. In this quiet connection that doesn't need to be named or defined to be real.